Hello everybody and welcome back to Music Ed Now. In today's video we'll be learning all about the treble clef. To start with, we're going to look at how to draw the treble clef. We have our 5 lines here that make the stave, and to begin a treble clef we start on the second line from the bottom and make a swirl touching the middle line or third line and the bottommost line as well. Next we make a loop up the top that just goes above the stave, then we put a line right down through the center before finishing with a little tail at the end. Use the visual and practice drawing your own treble clefs now. Next we're going to look at the notes on the treble clef. The spaces going from bottom to top spell the word face, so that if a note appears in the bottom space that would be the note F, and the lines are from the bottom to the top E, G, B, D and F, and a useful memory aid for that is the sentence, "Every good boy deserves Fanta." Let's look at some notes in action. Here I have the note A because it's in the second space of the treble clef. The note head is inside the space and not blurring over into the other lines so that it doesn't cause confusion for any musician trying to read the note. And the stem of the note goes up on the right hand side of the note head. Here I have the note C because it's in the third space of the treble clef. And notice now that the stem direction goes down. When the stem goes down, it should be on the left hand side of the note head. The reason why the stem is going down is because it is above the center line. Notes that happen below the center line will have an upward stem, and notes above this center line will have a downward stem. If I have a note that's on the middle line, you can choose any direction for the stem. Just make sure that if the stem is going down, it's on the left hand side of the note head, and if the stem is going up, it's on the right hand side of the note head. Another rule of thumb for the length of the stem is that it should be approximately an octave. For example, the stem goes from this note A to approximately where the A an octave above would be. If we have 2 quavers that are on either side of the center line, you just make a choice on the stem direction, but make sure that both notes agree. So in this case, we've gone with 2 downward stems, but the same set of notes could be written like this. As long as the quavers agree, all is good. What do we do if the note that we want is higher or lower than the written notes on the stave? So the treble clef will account for most of the notes that are going to be sung or played by a treble clef instrument, but sometimes we'll have notes that exist outside of the stave itself. So the first 2 notes we're going to look at are D and G, and they exist just outside of the stave. As a reminder, the first line of a treble clef is the note E. So this line here is the note E. The first space of the treble clef is the note F. The second line is G, and so on up the stave. But look at the pattern. We've got E, F, G. So it simply goes line, space, line alphabetically. That means if we were to go down from E, all we need to do is go 1 step down in the alphabet too. So the letter before E in the alphabet is D. So that's how this note here is called D. Similarly, up the top, if we have F as the top line of our treble clef, E is the top space. So we go E, F, the next letter in the alphabet is G, and that's how we get this note G up here. What if we want notes that are higher or lower than this? Again, we're just going alphabetically down, so the next note below D would naturally be C. But what we've done is gone space, line, space, and then we would need a note that exists on a line. And instead of drawing a million more lines below here, when we only need the 1 note, we use a thing called a ledger line. A ledger line is a mini line that shows the musician that we want C and not D, or C and not some other note. So we need a mini line to indicate that it's happening on a line and that it's the note C. Again, up top we have the same type of thing. G, the next note up in the musical alphabet, is not H, it's A. So we need a ledger line, a little mini line to indicate that we're going space, line, and alternating space and lines the whole way. We're going to do this a couple more times just to show you how it works in full. So again, coming down then, the space that will be below this C is a B. And again, we need the ledger line here to indicate that we've gone line, space, line, and then we're on space again. And up top, this note happens to be B as well, but it goes G, A, B, and sits on top of the ledger line. We can have as many ledger lines as you want. So again, if we come down alphabetically once more, we need now a second ledger line to indicate that we've gone to the note A. And a second ledger line above to indicate the note G, A, B, C in our alphabet. And that completes our beginner guide in the treble clef. I hope you found this video useful, and please remember to hit subscribe so you don't miss out on our future uploads.